Hey guys, we're going live here. We're going to do some rally prep for the Four Bangers rally. We're working on the Saab, what do we call this thing? We call this thing the Supreme Turd. And we got a few things left to do. Right now we're in the middle of working on a big 5-inch race tack. We're going to wire that guy in. We got a few more tests to do tonight. Come with us. So right now, we're tacking the coil wire and a tack wire all together into a big 3-wire concept so that we have our tack working. The factory tack, for whatever reason, doesn't work. Probably a grounding issue. So we got 2 wires here. Grab ourselves a section of oops. Grab ourselves a section of heat shrink. Find where we lost our solder. And we're going to get to it. Or we're going to drop it like I just did. While you make a spare. And feed 2 wires through here. Tack them real close together. These 2 are soldered. I guess that'll probably help you out. These 2 wires are soldered. Now we got to tack them to the wire that actually goes into the coil. You guys would probably hear better if I shut this music off. Let's go much quieter like that. No, let's grab a little more solder. We're having problems getting this guy all attached here. Okay. Now we got 3 wires attached here. Bring our heat shrink into the picture. Oh shit. There we go. And lighter. Boom. Tag him in there and we're good to go. Now, unfortunately, this is an old autometer tack, and it requires one of those wire loops to determine whether this is an 8-cylinder or a 6-cylinder or a 4-cylinder. In this case, we, of course, have a 4-cylinder Saab engine, and I think that our tack is set up for an 8-cylinder, so I've got to figure that one out. Let me take a good sip of my girly alcoholic drink here. And while we're at it, we might as well grab the phone and go to Instagram and let you guys know that I'm doing this. Maybe a few more of you could show up and see what I'm doing here. picture taken. We're going to Instagram this up and we're going to continue working here. Instagram. Oh, what are we going to call this? Let's say, oh, my phone's about to die. We're going to say rally work live stream going on now. YouTube.com/Z28 Camaro Kid. Hashtag, I don't know, what do you guys use? Rally Prep. I think I've been using that one. We're going to use Lemons Rally. If I can hit hashtag. We use these TestIcicles. Saab 900 Classic. Guys, we're live. Oh no, my thing isn't actually a link. Make a www dot, does it make it a link? Nope. I don't know how to make this a link, so I hope you guys. So if you're just joining us, welcome. I don't think it'll work that fast. I hope that was the right thing. I'm actually going to come with my computer and borrow it for a second. Make sure that I've got the right YouTube channel. Z28 Camaro Kid. Oh crap. Really? Is that not it? Sorry guys. Shoot. Now I gotta go to Instagram and edit that. Let's try that. / Camaro Kid. That should be me. If you guys are actually gonna show up. If not, guess I'm doing this for no one. Sorry for the jitteriness. We're all good now. Let me take a sip of drink. And we're all good. So right now we got our tack wired up, at least the signal wire. I have yet to figure out over here. I have a power wire and I have a ground wire to figure out for my tack. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do. Run them both through under here, under our brake booster. Okay, soldering flux wiped off. Let's figure out what the hell we're going to do. I want to switch these wires here to be accessory switched, whilst also adding a new circuit. But as far as I know, off camera here, I've got the fuse box, and I think, for the most part, everything is used up. So over here, what do you know? Okay. Place this guy right here. Chop him in half, as we do. Boom. Heat shrink, flipped over our wire. Now let's solder right over a fuel line, shall we? As we often try not to do. Oh, we had it, and I wanted to get the other side as well. That's where we lost it. A little extra ball of solder. And we're all set. Our lighter. Pull up our heat shrink. Over top both our wires. There we go. All set. Now I got a power wire that's, well, I don't know, let's call it yay long. It's pretty arbitrary. We're going to switch it later. I don't know if we're going to switch it under the hood or if we're going to find out how to switch it to the ignition. I guess we need a ground wire while we're here. So we run a ground wire off of our tach. Dip him in our flux. We're going to tin him up. And we're going to make sure this guy's ready to be soldered up to a ground connection. So we throw a good ball of solder up here on our ground connection. And we're going to take the other half out. Don't touch the soldered connection, it hurts. Take the other half of our heat shrink tubing. We'll set that there. We're going to find a good place to ground this. We're actually going to take it where it currently fits, which, test this bolt here. I think this bolt fits in this hole. And it seems to, so we're going to find a way to solder this this ground connection, or maybe we could find an eyelet connection and put it around this bolt here in our head. Let's see what we've got. No connections in the toolbox. Tiny eyelets, regular. Well, I guess we've got no regular connections, so we're gonna fake it. Let's grab a 12 mil wrench, which is what that bolt is. ourselves a 12 mil ratchet. Double check, yep, that's what these head bolts are. Or I guess it would be the equivalent of an intake bolt. We're gonna run him most of the way down in here. I'm not sure you can see it, I'm sorry. All we're gonna do is take our wire, strip him further back than usual. We're going to wrap that around underneath the head of the bolt, and we're just going to bolt him right in. And make sure we have plenty of exposed wire. And we're going to bolt him down. Oh, I guess not. I'm sorry. I lied. So I was trying to use this bolt here, a little bit too long to go into that head flush. So instead, we're actually going to back out. I think we're going to back out an intake bolt, just a single one of them. And you might question that, because the intake is indeed separated from the head by a paper gasket, but I still think it's going to work. If it doesn't work, we're simply going to run a ground wire from our intake over to our head. Make sure that it matches up. Take an intake bolt out. They're the exact same bolt that I was just dealing with. Curve a little circle here into our ground wire. About the same diameter as our head bolt, or intake bolt, rather. And if we can fit our hands in there, tuck our wire underneath our bolt. Now, just to be clear, this is not the right way to ground electronics, but it works. So we're going to do it today. Now, for testing purposes, I think we're going to run our power wire We're going to strip some of it back, run it to our battery to make sure our tach is working. In theory, if we switch, and I hope to get it to that point, but for now, we're not going to run it as such. So again, we're just going to put a little curve into our power wire for our tach. We're going to slip it in between the leads for our power, making sure that it's battery positive at all times. We're going to go over and test our engine, make sure our tach works. Now, I'm not shuffling my laptop around, which is currently my camera, so I guess you guys are going to have to trust me. That tach was reading about 400-ish, and I'm thinking it's set up for a V8, so double that for a 4-cylinder, and you've got roughly 800 or so RPM. Probably fairly accurate for this car. We'll see if we can set it up later. I did lose my music, though. I'm going to get it back on. We're also going to check Instagram because apparently maybe some of you guys are watching. If that's the case, thank you very much for joining me. So tach's wired up. The next big one that I've got on the list is our brand new. I'm not even going to show you guys the name brand of it because it's not a name brand. It's a cheap eBay one, although cheap might be a little bit of a misinterpretation. It's a wideband O2 sensor. A little air-fuel ratio gauge. I guess that's going to give away who made it. A little company called WB. I think it was like 130, 140 bucks on eBay. A wiring harness. And the sensor itself. Now this car has a sensor right down in here. I've been soaking with PB Blaster. PB Blaster? I don't know. If you don't already have a hole in your exhaust, whoops. This kit actually comes with a bung that you can weld in, bolt screwed into it. So there's the current thread that we're going to be using. I'm pretty sure it's the same thread as the factory unit on this car. So we're going to toss that guy back in the box. And we're going to figure out where I misplaced my adjustable wrench. Oh, God. Oh, I guess I have one down here on battery. You probably saw that. Already pretty much adjusted. Doesn't look like it wants to come off. I lied. We're not going to do the O2 sensor today. Or at least not now. We're probably going to run the engine up to temperature to make sure we can get this thing busted loose without breaking anything else. Oh well, we tried. We do have a couple other things. I have a dashboard switch wired to this top injector, which fans of the Bosch injection system will know is the 5th or cold start injector on these cars. I'd like to make it momentary switch. I ordered the pins for this setup, and they haven't shown up, but these little Bosch connectors require a specific set of pins to go onto these wires. And I can reuse the old pins. It's a little bit inconvenient. So I've ordered some new ones, but if it comes down to it in the next week or so, we're going to reuse the old pins and slip them back into these connectors. And they simply snap onto these guys nice and easy. Make great connections. Unfortunately, if you don't order the pins in time, you're out of luck. Other tasks today, I got this headlight that I just installed, and unfortunately I lost the ground wire for it. So I'm hunting through my ground wires over here on this side harness. So far, I found a couple of wires that I've already disconnected. And my best bet is I think this wire right here. I lied, it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to figure out some sort of spade connector to get this headlight to ground. Otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble. Probably this dead wire that I disconnected here. I'm trying to disconnect every electronic that isn't absolutely necessary for the car to run. For example, the O2 sensor, the original wire, probably going to get disconnected. And I'm thinking the spade connector off of here is going to work great. So let's make it happen. Strip the insulation back. Pull the little boot off of him. And we got a great little spade connector. What do you know? It fits almost perfect on the back of our headlight. Not quite perfect, but almost perfect. I don't know where the original went. I've got no wires laying on my floor, which would generally indicate a wire I've cut out and thrown away. So I think I threw it away so long ago that it's not even visible anymore. Grab a screwdriver. See if we can spread this guy enough to get onto that headlight. Not quite yet. Pliers can assist us, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to screw this headlight up. I lied. So I'm thinking for the headlight, it's just an old-fashioned square headlight. One of these three-prong deals. I think we're going to connector. This guy's all dry rotted and cracked over the years. So in anticipation for that new connector, cut the old guy off, toss him away, and if we can find, that's what we're going to call our ground wire right there, I think. Yeah. We're going to call this guy the headlight ground wire. We're just going to zip tie these together so we remember next time. Grab ourselves our zip ties. He's red, it sticks out a lot. Somehow I lost a ground wire. There it is. There we go. We're just going to tie these together so we know that these guys are the headlight wires. Fold them back. Set them down. It's that simple. Okay, what else is on our list today? Unfortunately, I think that's about all I can do. I thought I had an extra switch. I could do some dashboard wiring, but it seems to have disappeared. So probably a pretty short stream. I'm sorry, guys. But that's going to have to be it tonight. Sob rally prep, here it goes. Hopefully we can get a couple more of these in before we actually go on the rally. Unplug our stuff. Get our bolts set out of the way. And I thank you guys for watching. Take care. I'm going to be out of here. Hopefully we can catch back up with you in another few days or by next weekend. I need a couple